The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 21st day of April, 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamel Hartman. She's Sherry Vanderpool, and Leanna Lambert will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sherry, happy Thursday. How are you?
I am well. It's Thursday. Thankful Thursday. It's Thursday. It's Thursday. Throwback Thursday, Jamel. You
Oh,
know, to
what
when
we doing?
you opened the door, didn't you? Throwing back to how short you was back in the day. But hey, it's still current now, so you
Oh,
opened the door and you
that's
started
not what's
with
going.
me this morning.
No. Hold on, folks. Let me just be clear before we come on. Obviously, we try to be nice to one another, and Leanna always comes with this positive, good energy, like, "Oh, how you doing? And you look so da da da." And then Sherry takes to, "Oh, Jamal, you don't never say nothing nice." Da, da, da. And I'm just like, how did this turn into me not doing something or saying something nice when I'm here trying to? Anyway, you
Tune
look
in,
great.
Jamal.
You look great. I love that. Is it a hair wrap? What's that thing called?
Yeah, it's
And
it's
that,
a
I like
scarf
that.
bandana, but it was the heel. I like that.
No, I didn't. I can't win, folks. I can't win. Anyway, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. Another good one today as we welcome Pat Trott from Travel Edge. We're discussing travel. Um, Travel is a big thing. I just read an article yesterday, Sherry, that said um, the hotel industry in the U.S., according to the Association of Hotels and Lodging, they're about to take a $20 billion hit this year. Not due to leisure
Wow.
travel. Leisure travel looks like it's picking up, but due to business travel. And I always say to Bermudians,
Mm.
when it comes to tourism, you know me, I'm consistent. You all keep thinking of fish sandwich and all this marketing and Bermudians involved is what's going to get tourists there. And I'm like, nah, it's group and business travel that drives tourism. But again,
Yeah.
sometimes we only know what we know. The Daily Players are named that place today. It's a little something, something for you. What's up? What,
Uh,
Sherry?
okay. I just have to, I just have to get myself prepared because I feel like, when it comes to a test, even, this, yeah.
You and Sandra are very interesting people. Yeah, yeah. Testing this, testing that. I mean, can't you just accept that you know, you're great at a lot of things, just not the daily play?
Oh,
You like what I did there, huh?
no, let's move on to what we're here to do today, Jamal. Yeah, let's move on.
Okay. So we've got traveling Trotty. She says she's looking forward to the travel conversation this morning, and honestly, I am too. I love.
Me as well.
I would say I still do love travel in this respect. I'm not necessarily a fan of being on an airplane anymore or going through airport
Really.
security. I just don't like that kind of stuff anymore. But I love to get to the destination and experience stuff. So I just have to work out getting there. You know what I'm saying, Sherry? And then it all
Yeah.
will be good,
I'm
right?
excited about the conversation. Just I've heard his voice for many years, and it's now nice to put a face to the voice. So I'm excited to talk to you. Let's try.
Yeah. Well, I want to, something came up in the news yesterday too. I guess we can ask her about that because a lot of Bermudians tend to travel to Orlando like for Christmas and summer breaks. Well, it looks like the governor of Florida and Disney World, Walt Disney Company, they are clashing. And if I'm not mistaken, Disney is one of the largest employees in the state. It would be a hit if Disney, the Walt Disney Company, left Florida. But yeah, there's some political issues going on there. But that's not what we're discussing right now. This morning, obviously, there's things going on in the U.S. with the mask mandate. The CDC has asked I believe, Biden administration to challenge the ruling ending the mask mandate. But what I want to, I guess it's a good time to talk about this. Obviously, I just saw a report that cases seem to be rising again in Bermuda. So the pandemic isn't technically over. It's not over, and
Not
I'm
at
not
all.
going to act like it is or champion it. But I guess the question of the morning is, what have you, each of us, every last one of you that are tuned in, what have you learned about yourself during this pandemic? What have you learned about yourself? Oh, Sherry, I don't know about that face. I don't know about that
Because
face, Sherry.
I think, it's some things that you've learned about yourself are not all good, Jamal,
Right.
So for me, I've learned that I lack a lot of consistency, as though I show up, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and all of that great stuff. I lack consistency and follow through on some things, and that didn't that was highlighted before, but I feel like it came to a big highlight during the pandemic of, you haven't finished this, you haven't done that, you started this and you haven't started, that. So I've learned that I lack that, and it's something that I need to continuously work on,
Mm.
and being consistent throughout different areas in my life. Let me just say that. Not it is different parts that I need to be more consistent in.
Yeah. No, indeed. And I think part of it is accountability.
Yeah.
What have we learned where we may have fallen short? What have we learned about ourselves where we took advantage of opportunity and so low hanging fruit that can improve not only our lives but the lives of our loved ones and people around us. What have you learned about yourself during the COVID pandemic? That's the question of the morning, folks. What have you learned? Like have you learned that you are a more resilient person due to what we've been up against? Have
Hmm.
you, like Sherry, have you realized that maybe you haven't been your best self because of whatever reason? I think this show has taught me a lot. It's through the pandemic that this show came about. And what I've learned is that I'm actually a better listener than I thought. I love to listen to people's thoughts. I love to I love to know how people think and why they think the way they do. Like that's
Yeah.
something I've learned about myself. I really love to uh understand why people disagree with certain things. And not honestly, not so that I can argue with them, not so that I can go back and forth. Believe it or not, I don't get an orgasm from arguing with people. It's seriously, it's not that
And I
serious.
think and I think for you, Jamal, that can be misconstrued by many people. It's just such a very passionate, and you really want to know why you thought that the way that you thought. How did you come to that? And that's interesting because Jamal's like, no, Sherry, no, explain it to me. Like, okay.
No, and the thing is, it's like I think, and it's not that anyone owes me an explanation, but in order to respectfully, I think too often we just say yes, no, go along with stuff. And the truth is, even if it's not in our best interest, we think that's respectful. No, I
Yeah.
think that, if we're having a conversation, right? If we're having a conversation and you say, oh no, I don't like that, I disagree. I'm only trying to figure out so that next time I know, that's it's not always to challenge someone or make somebody feel
Right.
bad or push them back. But I've learned a lot, right now, just looking at how people have communicated from a business sense, understanding what people are interested in, right? How people handle pressure, how I handle pressure, how dealing with tragedy and death, how we've been able to deal with it. I've learned so much about myself through everything. I mean, again, losing my mom during this period as well, right? um,
Hmm.
Not being able to travel. I'm a person that really traveled a lot. You know, I mean, mind you, I still have found ways to um, go places during the pandemic. We've been to Antigua, we've been to St. Lucia, and obviously Bermuda. But you know, how 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 has it been being able not being able to leave your house? I mean, there were times in Bermuda where people who were active and they would go out running every day couldn't go without what a 1 mile
Yeah.
radius of their home and so on. I mean, this was a tough time, and again, some of us had a lot of time to think and figure out who we were.
And learn to adjust, right? And sometimes it's hard for people to adjust, as you said, when you've already been kind of in a routine and a schedule.
Mhm.
So learning to adjust for me was not as difficult, but it was just an adjustment. It was a mind shift, right? It was, I can't, like you say, I go a mile away from my house.
Mhm.
I have to ask somebody who may not have been on my grocery day to get me something because in my household it was S&B, so he was on the last day, right? And so I was like, okay, here's Jake. So it was all of this kind of figuring out things. And like you said, Jamal, these people, I didn't look at the obituaries as much as I've have in the last 2 years. I just
Same,
didn't. And
same.
so I looked at them all the time. I was like, oh my gosh, I know this person. Oh my gosh. And that for me was a lot. Not
Mm,
everybody I knew personally, but even I'm that person, even if I know of you and I heard that you passed, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. And then
mm,
I figure out the way that you did pass, and then I take that on.
yeah,
Gosh, I need to get healthy. I need to don't let a healthy person pass. I'm really like,
yeah.
I give up.
Yeah, no, for sure. Cincarena, she says, I learned that I have an unhealthy physical slash stress reaction to the watching the news. So I stopped, except TDH, of course. Well,
Yeah.
and thank you for that, Sheikah. It's interesting because I found myself, something I learned about myself is I want to be a part of discussing more positivity. I want to be a part of a movement that um, people feel comfortable to engage with. I found myself that, like Shika, every time that I watched the news or looked at the news or read the news, it just didn't do anything to make me feel better. And when I say news, I'm even talking about sports. Like I literally stopped watching sports news because it was
Yeah.
all so it became too political for me. It wasn't as fun. It was not talking about sports. And so for me, I felt like that was bringing me down. So there were those kind of things that I realized about myself. So I appreciate that, Shika. David Michael R. Wilson, he says, I learned that I'm more frugal than I thought. I can make $50 stretching groceries for a week and be comfortable. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. And just back to Sheikah, I stopped watching news since 9/11, Jamal.
Mm,
I learned that I take things on. And so when I see people waking up and the first thing they're putting on the news, I'm like, why are you doing that? Like that just you just take all of that on. And people sit and watch news all day. You gotta think about that.
it takes a toll on you. Renee Simmons said, I learned I don't need to be around people to enjoy myself. I've always been a homebody, but I now know I can sustain myself by being at home and enjoying my own space. Not traveling was the hardest. I love that. And I love
Yeah.
that because I remember when I was working in Bermuda tourism, I used to travel a lot. So I'd be out to eat by myself and so on in different cities. And one time I was in a city with a friend. It's just like, so hold up. When you go to cities where you don't know people, you just go out to eat randomly by yourself. I'm like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I do. And she found it so odd and strange because she's so used to doing stuff with people. And I'm just like, trust me, you get some of the best time to yourself. And if
I
you
did a
never have
Saturday
time
on
to yourself,
Saturday.
if
Sorry.
you never have time to yourself, Sherry, you're missing out. I'm just gonna say that much.
Yeah, I did that Saturday. Going. On Sunday, yeah, I wanted to go somewhere. Everybody didn't want to go, and I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna go by myself. I went to a Renaissance festival by myself, never been, and I just was like, oh, this is awesome.
And it's
Yeah,
okay. Like I mean, I think
yeah,
we have we again, and again Renee Simmons appreciate that because you know, for me, traveling was hard as well. Like I said, I love to be in different environments. Not necessarily the actual part of getting there, but I love to be in different environments.
yeah,
I love to I know people think I only eat rabbit food, but I love to be in different spaces. I love to try different cuisines, different small cities like Charleston, South Carolina, um, even New Orleans. Like I love going to different places and knowing that we didn't have the opportunity to just up and go. It was hard. Not to mention, um, again, something else I learned about myself when a lot of people lost jobs. Obviously, the hardest part about the pandemic is the loss of life, right? But there are people who lost jobs. For me, though I didn't lose a job, I felt the burden. People had to take pay cuts and so on. So the resilience, the creativity, and the constant the mind going of how can I make up what I'm losing. Like that's what
Yeah.
I learned, that I have it within me, and that's one of my hopes for so many people is like some of the solutions to everything we go through are actually within us, but we're so used to looking outside and at others for to bring us solutions to the challenges we're having. Question of the morning again: what have you learned about yourself during the COVID pandemic? Michelle White says, I learned to appreciate those immediately around me, husband and son, and finding my voice as an entrepreneur. I love that. And
Mm.
Executemps is the business. I just followed them on LinkedIn. If you are on LinkedIn, go check her out. But that's another thing. One of the things I didn't like at the beginning of the pandemic, Sherry, was people saying things like, oh, if you're at home and you have more time, you should be starting a business and this and that. And I understand. I didn't like comments like that because you're putting pressure on people who you don't know what people have going on. You don't know if they have side hustles they enjoy. Not everyone has the means, the passion, the desire to be an entrepreneur, and I get it.
Yeah.
But I think that it would have been better stated saying, instead of falling back, just find something else that's going to keep you interested, keep you going, and help sustain the livelihood that you have for you and your family. But to Michelle, I can appreciate both her husband and son, but also finding her voice as an entrepreneur, because
Yeah.
sometimes when your back's up against the wall, you got to come out swinging. And a lot of people came out swinging. You see us here today. Traveling Trotty says there are so many benefits of doing activities by yourself, especially a solo vacation. Oh no, Traveling Trotty, I don't think I've seen you on a solo vacation. I always see people in your pictures. Are those people you're visiting? Oh no, Traveling Trotty. Nah,
I keep hearing that, and that's something I want to do. I think again, that's me watching television and different things and taking it on. So I kind of put a little fear in myself to doing it. I've watching taking one, two, and three. So I'm just like, oh. So I need to
you
get that
basically
out of my mind.
you don't want to be the star of a Dateline or 2020 episode, is what you're saying.
Never
Okay.
want to be on the news, Jamal.
Okay. I got you, Sherry. Karen Simmons says, I learned that the word no can be a full sentence and I don't need to explain myself. No, self-preservation. But Karen, earlier I was just saying that I just asked for explanation so I can understand better. I don't want to, if you tell me no, it's not that I'm just, you owe me anything. I just want to know so that for the next time, right? But no, I appreciate that because sometimes a no is all that's needed. We have
Hmm.
forever felt like or been put in positions where we have been made to feel like we need to explain ourselves to people. Sometimes
Yeah.
no is the explanation. And that's something that even me asking people questions, that's something that I had to learn. Yeah.
Hmm. I've learned also that, or I enjoyed uh, being home, being able to, as social as I am, and as fun as I am, Jamal. I liked being by myself as well, right? And but I also took time to clean out different things of my house or doing certain things that I was like, oh, I wish I had the time to do. I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, no, I hear that, and I definitely agree. I didn't take you as a person that love to be alone. Shy. I mean, you only just look forward to Friday, so then you don't have to see us anymore for a couple of days. But anyway, Sam Cat Play says, I sensed what I sensed what I needed more. It kept me sane and to take on negativity, especially social media. Also learned my scale is the devil. Okay, so that means, well, my pounds, scale pounds, folks. I think I learned that. Many people learned that. I'm looking forward to traveling with kids again. You're not alone with that, Sam Cat. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
sis. I mean, I felt bad for 50 Cent at the Super Bowl when people were like, "Oh, 50 look so big," but I'm like, you show me someone that's maintained their weight or fitness levels do this, and I'll show you a professional athlete or someone who makes a living doing.
He look fine.
Yeah, but it's
He
just
look
like
fine.
I mean, come on, we've got to do better, folks. Hadley and Stevenson
Yeah.
Swan says regarding family, I showed them super love prior. I showed them super love prior to the pandemic. However, I learned that I can put alcohol in my mug while on Zoom, and everyone assumed I was really loved coffee. Sorry, but not sorry. My goodness, oh my goodness,
I
Hadley.
can't.
Oh, see, I do say to you all every morning. You all know I don't drink coffee, and you know you don't see any smoke coming from. There's no tea, so you don't know what's in my mug, but you do know it's not alcohol. I'll leave it at that. Leave it at that. Yeah, I'm
Kathleen.
just Adeline, do your thing now. Just hey, look, just don't start having hiccups during your Zoom meeting or looking slouchy and tired because then you're giving yourself away. Do your thing, player. Do your thing. Sherry can't get enough of that. Traveling Trotty says, I have been on
Sorry.
solo vacations before social media. So Traveling Trotty, she went and scoped the places before she took other people there. David Michael R. Wilson says,
Mhm.
I've maintained my weight for the most part, gained, lost maybe up to 3 pounds, but I also have a healthy regime. Congratulations to you. Folks, what
Yes.
have you learned about yourself during the pandemic? Sherry, I wonder what Leanna's learned. Do you want to take any guesses before we bring you in?
She learned to stay away from social media and learn to be more in tune with herself.
Hmm. Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna go with you. I think that's the safest option. Uh,
Mhm.
honestly, I think that really because I'm thinking back on some of the things that Liana said over the last year, and I think you could be
Yes.
absolutely correct. I think she's learned to appreciate who she is a bit more and not worry about how others appreciate her.
Look
Yeah,
at you tuned in. Tuned in. You're listening, Jamal,
yeah. I see.
today.
I listen. No, but no. Lee likes to say, "Oh, I'm listening
Bring
to it."
bring Lee in. Bring in Lee.
Miriam Simmons says, I was quarantined in April 2020. On my return to the island, I finally found the willpower to lose weight and have maintained that to today. I lost instead of getting. Congratulations to you, Miriam.
Nice.
Much love to you. Let's bring in Leanna, see what she's learned about herself during the pandemic. Good morning, Leanna.
Good morning. Look at you two so in tune. I love it this morning. And spot
Was I
on.
right?
Spot on.
Oh, so you two kind of had these conversations before we came on here.
Not at all. Carrie listens.
Oh, so I didn't my part that I added on back of that. I wasn't a listener.
It's
You
all
know what,
right.
Mel? I'm gonna give it to you today because we actually color coordinated. So you know what? You
Yeah,
have it. It's all yours.
nice shirt, Lee. I like that shirt. Little blue.
Thank you. You as well. Look at you, all smart and you're blue today.
Thank you,
But
Leah.
yes, that's exactly what it was during the pandemic. Like I was home alone, and just reading self-help books and meditating, learning the power of manifestation. And to be completely honest, it was the best thing. Like I felt as if for myself, the pandemic needed to happen because I really needed to get back
Mm.
in tune with who I am, my values, and where it is that I really want to go with my life. And I managed to build a routine that helped me to keep and maintain a strong mental health during that time because it was quite lonely.
Mm.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I obviously there was loss of life during the pandemic, but I agree with you that the world needed a reset.
It did.
And I think so many individuals we needed a reset. Um, yeah, I get it. And you spoke about your routine, and I say this not being corny or joking, but I'm happy that you've made the daily hour a part of your routine,
Oh yeah.
both of you, because I
Mm.
think the power in what we are able to do and engage and communicate, and have conversations like this, because it's been a tough 2 years for so many people. That's included tragedy and death and loss of jobs, loss of health. Some people that were maybe in
Yeah.
great shape and things have happened to them. But my hope is that we take whatever we've learned and we build on it. We turn it into some positives that reflect in ourselves, our community, and our loved ones. So Lee, yeah, it's great. So let's go over to you. Let's get to that news break. See what you
Oh,
got. Don't forget, we've got Pat Trott. I was going to say Traveling Trotty. Pat Trott from Travel Edge coming up. We're talking about travel today, folks. This should be a good conversation. I want to ask you both after this to think about it. Lee, I know you're doing a news break. What is the first place you'd like to travel? If you could book one trip with Pat Trott today, what would it be? Let's say after the news break. Let's say that, and then we'll see what she can do for us. All right, over to you, Lee.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jamal and Sherry, and good morning to all of those who are tuned in with us today. I hope everyone is having a great start to this coldish kind of day. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Well, in today's top stories, Transport Minister Lawrence Scott continues to take his stance that there is no longer a significant need for the Pink Ferry route, despite ongoing pushback from angered commuters. Now, emotions erupted earlier this week when commuters launched a petition as it emerged that the Pink Ferry route would be reduced due to low ridership. The petition called for the restoration of an adequate waterborne commuter link between Paget and Warwick and the capital, which passed 1,000 signatures. Ferry users expressed anger at the minister's stance on the issue. Now, Mr. Scott said that he had heard the concerns of the people who had made use of the Pink route and have formulated a solution that retains weekday service for commuters and students traveling to and from Hamilton. Now, he affirms that the Pink route is not being canceled, but it will be reduced in frequency while still supporting riders who commute to and from Hamilton for work and school. Mr. Scott highlighted that the revised schedule was similar to the service provided on the commuter-focused Green route. In other news, emergency services were quite busy yesterday after assisting two motorists that were involved in separate collisions in St. David's yesterday morning. Now, a spokesperson for the Bermuda Fire and Rescue Service said that at 11:15 a.m., officers responded to a report of a single vehicle collision near Dolly's Bay. On arrival to the road traffic collision, fire crews found one car which had hit a wall, it said. The driver of the car did not have any injuries. Now, while at that scene, firefighters received another call about another incident in which a car went off the road and into the water near the former Severn Bridge in St. David's. Now, when the firefighters reached the area of the second incident, they found that both of the passengers in the car had been able to safely escape the vehicle. Both were treated and taken to hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Now, a police spokesperson said that it had confirmed that two police officers had been involved in the second collision and said, thankfully, neither officer was seriously hurt. Now, the vehicle was extensively damaged. Traffic was diverted away from the area while the scene was processed by traffic collision investigators. Now, anyone with information about the incident is urged to call police at 211 or 295-0011. And no new COVID deaths were reported in the latest test results from health officials. However, cases have seen a spike with 293 active cases now on island. Now, in the more than 7,800 results returned, 242 were positive. There are 9 people in hospital, however, none are in the intensive care unit. Now, these figures put the island's test positivity rate at 3%. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 72 and a low near 65 degrees. It will be a cloudy and quite windy start to our Thursday. Now, rather windy and sometimes wet weather continues thanks to a slowly dissipating front nearby. Now, the weekend sees a gradual return to mainly dry and sunny conditions thanks to strong high pressure towards the northwest. However, it will feel cool and breezy as northerly winds pass us. That's all for our Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Now let's head back to Jamal and Sherry in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
All righty. Thanks so much for that, Lee. And audience, the question is for you as well. Let us know what's the one destination you'd like to go to. Maybe Miss Trott can help you with that after the break. What's the first destination if you haven't traveled? Even if you have, what's the next destination you'd like to travel to? Sherry, I know you've got a day of the year for us. What day is it? Oh, yeah, celebrating today.
We are celebrating World Creativity and Innovation Day. So Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again while expecting different results. We've all heard saying this, this saying often applies to wisdom, to reasons to change negative life habits. However, this statement can be applied to the creative process. So today is World Creative and Innovation Day, and it provides people with an excuse to try and
Mhm.
solve old problems in new ways.
Hmm.
How cool is
Okay.
that?
I like that.
Oh, okay. Let me go think of something. I'll try to be creative today. I'll try to be creative. All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Lee, thank you so much for that. And you want to let us know what destination would you like to go to? What's your next destination?
Yes, so I've had a good think about this over the last 2 years because I haven't traveled yet. But what really pops to mind, I want to go somewhere exotic. So I was thinking somewhere like Bali, or I really want to travel. I want to see another culture and meet different people, try new food. So it was either Bali or like Greece. I wanted to
Hmm.
travel to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've heard from Leanna, folks. We have heard from Leanna. Lee, it's Greece. I'm going to share what the audience is saying once we bring Miss Trotter on. Lee, we'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow because you know what? It's Friday. Thank God.
Wow, she doesn't want to
See the
see you.
happy dance.
Later,
Happy
Lee.
day.
See you on
Bye,
Friday.
guys.
See,
Right.
you're not even
All
trying to
right,
be a
folks,
part of
we're
us
gonna leave it there.
now.
We will be right back with Pat Trott. Do not go anywhere. This conversation should be good because we know you all love to travel and you miss it. Stick with us.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Hi, I'm Karen, a nurse at the old folks home. These long hours used to kill my feet until my hairdresser told me about a great place to buy a pair of clogs. Medical House. Finally, relief. They also carry uniforms in bright, bold colors. And not to mention the support stockings.
Karen, Miss Soltis bet her bet again.
Oh gosh, these days, I need all the support I can get.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke.
This month, John Barrett & Son bring us a premium thirst quencher from North Carolina, the Blue Ultra Purified Water. Many other bottled waters use reverse osmosis to reach an acceptable level of purity. Le Bleu uses a 5-step purification process, which includes fractional vapor compression, distillation, and ozonation, assuring purity and a unique, appealing flavor. Consumer testimony repeatedly praises the taste of Le Bleu compared to the other brands, and this, along with superior purity, makes Le Bleu a must-try. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
All right, welcome back to the big show. She's Sherry Vanderpool, Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Sherry, real quickly before we bring Miss Trotter on. So I got this thing, right? Instead of a wallet, just to keep my cards and ID in. And I thought the clip here,
Okay.
was to like put on my pants. And then I said, no, I think this is where the cash goes. You know, the clip thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew that's where
I
the
think
cash goes.
either way.
Oh,
Yeah.
either way?
I
Okay,
think you
okay,
can. I think it's either way, Jamal. I'll give you that.
okay.
I think it's either way.
Okay, thank you, Sherry, because I was feeling a little, not as fast as I usually am. But anyway, let's bring in Miss Trott, Pat Trott from Travel Edge, folks. Good morning, madam. How are you?
Good morning, Jamal. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Sherry, and to your audience. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank
I've
you.
been listening and just enjoying the morning with you and in the behind the scenes studio. And I have to say, I want to thank you. And I hope that the listening audience this morning will find it very informative as we talk about travel And I've been listening to you. I know I listened to Leanna. She's wanting to go to Greece and Bali. And I'm sure that some of your chats are telling you different destinations that people are looking to travel to. And you know, it's been 2.5, almost 3 years. And because of the pandemic, there's been so many restrictions. And of course, the world is opening now. And so the protocols have changed, their entry requirements have changed.
And we'll get to all of that. Don't want to cut you off, but time constraints. But these are some of the destinations people are talking about. They've said Australia, they've said South Africa, they've said Kenya. We've got Aruba in the house, we've got Hawaii, we've got Dubai. So we've got some people with some different destinations. But before we get into all of that, just tell the audience, for those who may not have heard your name, don't know who you are, tell us a bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
Okay, I'm Pat Trott with Travel Edge here in Bermuda. I'm the relationship manager. We have a team of 30 travel advisors here at Travel Edge. We're a very diverse company. We can book travel for you, whether it's from travel to the East Coast, travel across Europe, travel the world, basically. And we here, the diversity we have a team that is very knowledgeable, and we share the knowledge. We share it with the audience of people that come into our office, the clients that come in, the consumers that come in. We're here to be of service to you. I've been in the industry for many years, and I've always, as I know it, I've got 30 plus years, almost 40 years in the travel industry, and I have a passion for it. I like to travel. I like to share the knowledge. And with the pandemic, and I have to say, I haven't traveled since 2019. So I am ready to travel. And many people are. And as we know, I am a passionate person, and I'm passionate for what I do. And I want to provide the expectations to the consumer along with the advisors here in our office. They will do the same. Whether you're coming in to travel solo, whether you're coming in to travel on a group, or whether you want a customized vacation, we are here to serve.
And that's interesting because you mentioned a diverse group of people who are there to serve, right? But in this digital age, so many people don't see the need for travel professionals. And me having worked in the tourism space, me having worked in the space to have an understanding and an idea of the role that travel professionals actually play, it's almost like a situation is we don't know we need them until we need them. But just explain why having one is still so important.
It is important. And we are your travel advocate. And we know that people are very savvy on the computer, and they can go online to the various airlines, to the hotels, to the cruise lines. However, we here at Travel Edge, as the advisor, we will book your vacation for you. For example, if you were to book an airline ticket on the website of any air carrier, and then all of a sudden you decide that, okay, I want to make a change, or there's a schedule change, or you're in that particular country and something has arose that you need to return earlier. And we here at Travel Edge, if you call us and you've booked online, we cannot assist. We do not have access to the reservation, to the booking that you've made, to the cruise line that you've booked direct with. That's why we are your travel advocate. We can assist you, we can make changes, and we have the contacts. We have the preferred, whether it's a tour company, whether it's an airline, we can go into the system that we have with the booking that you've made and do the necessary changes for you. Now, the other thing that we find with booking online, the cruise lines, the airlines have a basic economy airfare. And many people will go online and say, oh, I could get the airfare less expensive. You may get it less expensive. It might be $40, it may be $50, but that's a basic economy airfare. You can't make any changes. You own it. It's yours. Once you book it, it's yours. You can't make changes. So therefore, we as a travel advisors, we will not sell you that airfare. We don't encourage you to book that airfare because you may have to make changes along the way. We don't know what the future holds when you're traveling. And so, for example, if you may have to return earlier or you get to a destination and there is something that's going on that you're not happy with and you want to make changes to it, we cannot assist you if you have booked anything online. And I know people are computer savvy, but we are too. So that's why you come here to Travel Edge.
I didn't realize how important, and I'm going to be honest, my ignorance didn't allow me to see how important the role of the travel professionals were, because I still used one, even though I was working in the tourism space. But I say that because it wasn't until I think it was the winter of 2015. I was living in Boston at the time, and they had the worst snowfall they've ever had. And a lot of the people I engaged with were travel professionals in the area, and their phones were off the hook. And what they kept realizing, it was people who had booked trips straight through airlines or on like some of the websites, and now they needed their assistance. And I felt like the travel professionals were well within their rights to not assist them, but to assist those who actually worked with them. Because again, it's like, why are you calling them now, right, when they have other clients that they have to assist? And I only say that, folks, because you don't want to put yourself in a position like that, where, you know, one of the lessons I learned years ago, I was working August when Hurricane Fabian hit. And right before Hurricane Fabian was coming, a lot of people were coming in trying to insure their boats and their houses and so on. And I'm just like, well, the company would be well within their rights to deny you that insurance because you're coming, because you know. So how would it look if you're only paying a $200 premium and then they have to deliver a claim that's worth $200,000? So again, I support that, Ms. Pat, and I really hope that people, if nothing else, we've got a long way to go in this conversation. If nothing else, they understand the importance of the role that you and your colleagues play. On to the next question. The last 2 years, obviously, have been there's been little to no travel. You'd admit that.
It has been. So the last 2.5 years, yes, we've been in the pandemic. And of course, now that the world is opening up, we have seen travel a rebound. We're seeing a rebound of travel where people are coming in, they want to travel. And the various, I can tell you, so someone comes, so just let me just back up a bit here, because as you know, as many will know, when you want to travel to the US, you will need to be vaccinated. So that is one of the protocols that are in place. You must be vaccinated. And so some of that lift has gone away as far as COVID testing and some of the restrictions as far as filling out a travel authorization to visit various different countries. And so we have seen a surge of travel. We have seen where people, and I can say pre-pandemic, where people would do the weekends, the little weekend jaunts, I call them, the weekend jaunts to New York or maybe Boston or maybe Atlanta, Miami, etc. People are coming in and they want to travel to destinations. And I would say that these are destinations that perhaps have been on their bucket list. And they have decided that I want to do this. I want to go to Greece. I want to go to Bali. I want to go to Africa. We have one of our employees, as I speak, in a country, a destination. I'm not going to say what country it is, but I can tell you this, that is a trip of a lifetime. It's a lifetime trip that they were afforded the opportunity to travel and they accepted. And the reason I'm not saying it is that because we're going to have a little conversation about maybe where you think that she is before we end this talk. However, I have to say that we are seeing the doors open for travel as far as people traveling to Europe, the Azores. That's a popular destination as well. There is a flight that will take effect. SATA Airlines will fly effective June 21st. Every Tuesday, they will have Tuesday departures, and those departures will travel right through to September 13th. And that's an opportunity for you to travel to the Azores. It's a beautiful country. And while you're there, you may say, okay, let's go over to Lisbon. Let's go into Lisbon. Let's go into Madeira. So there's opportunity there as well. Again, you must follow the protocols, whether you need COVID testing. Some of that has lifted quite a bit. I have seen where the COVID testing has lifted and even the travel authorization forms. If you're traveling to the UK, for example, you're vaccinated or if you're unvaccinated. So the unvaccinated restrictions are a little different for the vaccinated travelers when you travel to the UK, but they have done away with the travel authorization form. You don't have to complete that anymore.
All right.
Well,
So there's just
and
go ahead, Sherry.
I was going to say, in June 21st is a good day to start. It's my birthday, so Azores, I need to put that on my list. But I'm here listening to you talk about the protocols. How have the rules and protocols of various destinations more so impacted people and their travel plans? Things such as you mentioned, the vaccination status, the mask mandates, and the travel authorization forms.
So what has happened, and so initially, and I can tell you it, for us as advisors with all those protocols in place and our guidance and guiding, and this stems back to what Jamal said about needing a travel professional. You need a travel professional because at that time when we had all those other restrictions in place and people were coming in and they didn't know where to look. They didn't know where to turn as far as coming in and saying, I want to go to XYZ. What is the protocols to travel? What is the restrictions? I have to be vaccinated. Do I need to fill out a travel authorization form? And so that's where we came in and provided that information. And even on the return to Bermuda, you had to do the travel authorization, and some people were not computer savvy and people were traveling, and it was just sort of, it was all new. It was all brand new to us. And of course, we as the travel advisors, we took this on as customer service and giving back to the client as they walk through our doors. We would assist with them and provide the information. And in some instances, I have to say, it's a pack your patience moment. It is. I have to say
well,
it.
As you mentioned, you saying Travel Edge, encourages you to get some of the best deals. And there's been various reports about rising airline prices. What are the best ways to get travel deals without breaking the bank?
Well, I can tell you, yes, there has been a rise in price. And we can understand that the rise in prices because of the airlines over the past 2.5 years. And so the advance, what happens is, and let's just say this. So the lowest deal, the lowest price is the airfare that we don't like to sell to you, the basic economy. So if you have more advanced purchase on your travel to whatever destination, and I want to say this, when people come in and they'll say that to New York, I'm using an example, it's $500. Why is it so expensive to go to New York? And then of course, someone else may have purchased their ticket and it's $400. They may have purchased it 2 weeks ago. It's inventory controlled by the airline. So it's different classes of service that is booked. And so at the time that you've come in, you may have captured the $400 airfare. You have made it 2 weeks later and you've got a $500 airfare. Now, as an example, yesterday I did a quote for Philadelphia, and this is traveling in May. And it was quite attractive. It was $338. And I thought, wow, this is on American Airlines direct to Philadelphia. So there are times when the airline will put in a lower airfare. And there are times when you look at it and you will think, another example, Los Angeles. There was an airfare to Los Angeles for $662 recently. Las Vegas, again, great destination. Whereas Charlotte, and I've looked at Charlotte and I've seen an airfare of 700 plus destinations. And you wonder why. That's a direct service. Why is the airfare so high? And again, the airlines, they look at their inventory of flights of classes of service and their yield management. They look at it and say, this is what we need to sell this particular seat at. You might be, and the other thing I want to mention to you is that this is economy airfares that I'm talking about. We've also found that people want to travel business class. So when you do the math, sometimes for a business class airfare, you may go business class. Again, this is an example. It may be $1,200, $1,300 to go to Miami, but you may have an economy seat for $700. So you do the difference and say you want more comfort. You want to sit up front. You have the 2 seats. You don't want to be in the back of the aircraft where there is 3 and 3 seating on the aircraft.
I like that.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a lot to consider. Let's talk cruises. Many see them as great value vacations. And are you seeing growing interest in cruises? And what, if any, are the cruise lines doing to ensure health and safety of all passengers?
So yes, we have seen an increase of booking of cruises, and from a cruise line perspective, and they've always during the pandemic and when we were getting through it, they've always had a stance where they want you to sail on their ship knowing that they have provided the best possible way of traveling with them with a safety in mind, that the protocols are met and you get on board, the ship is sanitized, and they will have a system on board. And also you would have to be vaccinated, and you would have to do a 48-hour COVID test to board their ship. But you can be assured that they do have the sanitization stations on board from the time and the cabins as well, that they're sanitized. And that's for all the cruise lines. And we sell, if you would like to do a mass market cruise line, and I'm saying mass market, meaning that if you want a ship that can hold 4,000 people, 2,000 people, or you want a smaller vessel, and one of the smaller vessels that may hold 95 people, we can book that for you here at Travel Edge. And the question has been asked, and it was asked early in the year because people have known that you can board in Bermuda. You can board a ship in Bermuda and you can do a crossing across the Atlantic, and then you would disembark perhaps in Southampton, England. So this year there wasn't a board in Bermuda. However, as we approach and we get into October, many people may be familiar with celebrity cruises, and I believe that the Celebrity Summit will be the Bermuda ship this year for the summer, for our season. So there is another ship afloat that will be in this month in April. It's called the Celebrity Beyond. The Celebrity Beyond is part of the Edge class with celebrities. So there's the Celebrity Edge, there's the Apex, and now be the Celebrity Beyond, which will be coming to Bermuda. It will grace our shores in October. So what we are trying to do to work with the cruise line with Celebrity is to allow people to board in Bermuda and go south. So depart Bermuda, and the date that we're looking at is October 28th. It'll be a 7-day cruise, specially priced for the Bermuda traveler, and you will end the cruise in Fort Lauderdale, and there will be 2 ports of call, which will be Curacao and Aruba. So that is an opportunity that we are working on with Celebrity Cruises.
Nice.
You
I
are
love that.
so knowledgeable. What should
Thank
those listening to travel in the coming months be prepared for now versus what they may have experienced prior to the pandemic?
So people traveling through airports now versus prior to the pandemic. Well, again, I'm going to start this with a pack your patience moment. Because before, when you traveled through airports and you went through the TSA, there's no mask wearing. There was no mask. You didn't have to wear it. So now, when you get to the airport and you need to complete your attestation form. Now, the attestation form to enter the U.S. is a form that you complete. And basically, you are saying that you have had a COVID test and you are vaccinated. So that particular form used to be done manually. You can still do it. However, there is a link that we will send you if you book with Travel Edge. If you book on Delta, you book on JetBlue, and American Airlines has the Verifly, and you would complete that, and Air Canada, you have the ArriveCan. So you have to complete that prior to checking in at the airport. And then that particular document that you're going to complete with the link online, that will sync with your reservation that you have made. And when you get to the airport, you will have that form already completed. It'll be synced. You don't have to produce that. You'll have a copy of your vaccination certificate and also a copy of your COVID test. And also what we encourage is we will do seating for you in advance. And then the airline. So what we have to do as an agent, so the airline will look for us to present your email address. So it goes into the system. That again syncs with them, and they will send you notifications of your flight to make sure that you have all the necessary documentation completed for travel. And then when you get to the airport, they want to make the process as seamless as possible, because it can be stressful enough when you think about it and you say, gosh, have I done this? Have I missed this? Have I missed that? And I can tell you something else, what and many of our agents in here do. So we have a ticket jacket, and they will type on it for you what you will need. And for return as well, they will just put the link on there. And just to remind you, because you have so much on your mind, making sure that everything is in order.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to make that happen for you.
Okay. Got a couple questions. We are out of time, but let's see if we can get through there. Sam Cat Place is asking, do you have an update on U.S. travel? As I was told, there will be a big lax in May for those unvaxxed, and I believe there is an exception now for kids.
Well, I can tell you this. We have heard that. I have seen nothing in writing to say that this will take place. I've seen no notifications. We haven't had any that the lift will be for unvaccinated travelers.
All right. And I want to say this to Sam Cat Place. Honestly, stop reading those WhatsApp messages. But I will say this. Keep your hope, faith alive. It may happen. It may happen. But it's nothing beyond rumor at this point. Nachiko Trott actually had a comment. This is interesting. She said, another advantage to business class tickets is that you are allowed 2 free checked bags. That's interesting. I didn't know that. But outside of my wife, who's traveling with 2 full bags? Sam Cat Place says, also, can Bermudian kids under 17, 18 travel out of Bermuda and not have an issue coming back home?
Yes, they can. They can travel. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we had another one. Michelle White says, sorry, I may have missed info, but are cruise ships still cruising half full, or are they now cruising full?
The cruise ships, the capacity, they have lifted their capacity. And again, so if a ship, and I believe it was at 40-30% maybe. And so now, yes, they have lifted the capacity of travelers on their cruise ships.
Alrighty. So I want to guess where your colleague is. You said it's somewhere.
Okay. Yes, let's do that. Yeah. So I'm just going to tell you this, that it's a destination that I'm going to give a hint. It's in Africa. It's a place in Africa.
Which else?
Egypt.
No.
It's not.
So I'm going to give you another hint. So the other hint would be that it's a place that you go into, and if you are adventuresome and you like to be adventuresome, you like to interact with the culture of the place.
Ghana.
And most people, and that's something that I find personally, that you can travel to any destination, but I want to interact with the culture of the country that I'm visiting. And then you can say, I visited XYZ.
We've got Kenya, Zambia.
I said Egypt.
Ethiopia.
So I'm going to give you another little hint. The other hint would be that if you like animals, do you like animals? Do you like to be upfront, close, personable? I'm sorry?
It's somewhere where safari is.
It's somewhere where a safari is. Yes, it is. So it's a safari environment. And so you have that environment. Now, the other thing with this particular trip, you won't travel with, I would say, more than maybe 10 people. You will lessen it as you go along, that you want to travel, but you don't want to travel in a heavy group environment to visit this country. Also, this is their rainy season. You got to wear your boots and you got to have all sorts on, and you don't want to attract. Now, I have on black. I've got on a black top today. I would not wear this if I were in this country and if I was having the experience, because I'm going to attract the insects, the little nettles, and whatever the case may be. They're going to be attracted to me. I need to be camouflaged in another color.
I think
nothing bright.
I think we're going through the dictionary as it relates to the African countries, and we are out of time. So,
well, I'm going to tell you where it is. It's a trip of a lifetime. It's gorilla trekking. She's in Rwanda. She's
somebody said that. Yeah, Rosalind Famous said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they say it?
Yeah. I thought you could see the comments. Yeah, Rwanda.
Oh, I wasn't looking at the comments. I'm sorry. Yes, it is Rwanda. It is.
Okay.
Yes,
wow.
It is.
Rosalind, we owe you something, lady. We owe you something.
but I can tell you, going in there, you need to have a permit, and so there is a license that you need to go into to interact with the gorillas.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Wow.
That does, as Nicole Walker says, it sounds amazing. And so people, if people are interested, because I for our honeymoon, we went to South Africa and Mauritius, and again, I'm eager to get back to the continent of Africa. There's so many different places I want to explore. Whenever I ask people, and I'm judging you all, I'm letting you know. Whenever I ask people what destination do they want to visit, I actually feel offended when it's not an African country. I honestly am. And I only feel that way after visiting. Because to me,
it's a vast country. So it's a big country.
So many different countries in that continent and so many different experiences. So for me, my hope, I don't like to tell people how to think, but I hope I can do enough to influence people to ensure that when they think of travel and going places, Africa, the continent, is top of mind. So thank you so much for taking the time and trusting our platform for this conversation. We definitely need to have you back, because the way travel works, there's always something to discuss. So we will be in touch and hope that.
Sure. I want to thank you. I've enjoyed it. I have. And I hope that you've enjoyed the discussion that we've had. And I tell you, it's been a very good show. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pat. All right, we'll be in touch. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
All right, Pat Trott from Travel Edge, folks. If you enjoyed that conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Always good information. Really, really, really appreciate folks in the travel industry. Again, we have seen people over the years say, "Oh, I don't need a travel agent. I'll go online." Trust me, folks. Just working in this space, get yourself. Especially when you're with the world opening back up, so many different destinations having different rules, you want an advocate. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere, because our daily play is a travel related question. Stick with us. Oops, wrong one.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system, providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
All right. Thanks again to Pat Trott from Travel Edge for joining us this morning. Conversation about travel. Like I said, if you appreciate that conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share these kind of conversations around that water cooler at work. Save yourself the arguments about politics and speak about these things. Trust me, It'll
Yes.
be worth your sanity. Thanks again to People's Pharmacy Medical House, One Communications, and Linda's for ensuring that we were to do this with you on a daily basis. It's time for the Daily Play brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. Sherry, are you ready?
Yeah, come on.
All right. All right. Well, we're going to do it a
Hey,
bit different.
geography.
We're going to do it a bit different. All right. Let's ask the question. What style of music is heard in restaurants, buses, and shops throughout the Dominican Republic?
Reggaeton? I don't know.
Pardon?
It's a reggaeton. I don't know.
Nope, we got to get your music in.
Salsa.
I'll read it again. What genre or style of music is heard in restaurants, buses, and shops throughout the Dominican Republic?
It has a name, you know? I don't know.
I'm not quite sure Spanish is a genre or a style, but it is a language. Someone got the answer. I actually am shocked that Rosalind Famous didn't get it. She said bachata. No, it's not bachata. Traveling Trotty got the answer. It's merengue. Merengue.
Oh, no.
Afro beats in a country. I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. Soca. I love you all. I love you. You know what? I love you. I love you. I love you all. Good try. She meant
Yes.
Nicole Walker said merengue or bachata. All right. So the answer is merengue. Merengue. Any final thoughts?
Thank you for that information. What I learned, I stated before, we all learned something about ourselves, good, bad, or ugly, and it's okay, whatever it may be, as long as you've learned something from it. As far as Miss Pat Trott, I just can sit here and listen to her. She is a wealth of knowledge. She is passionate. She knows her stuff. Call her, reach out to her to find out any information about travel. I didn't think I needed a travel agent. I
Sherry,
think different now.
real quick, I think you're rubbing off on people because it's clear that people are no longer listening to the question. I didn't ask where the music was from. So no one's disputing that merengue is from Venezuela. That would go back. I'm not even going to restate the question. The question wasn't if it's Dominican. The question was what music is heard throughout the country, not where that it's this country or that culture. Getting like Sherry yesterday, trying to find a loophole. Come on. Anyway, final thoughts. Thank you for that, Sherry. People trying to find loopholes. Just accept your loss, folks. Seriously, accept your loss. Take that L. You know, I asked earlier. The question was, "What have we learned from the pandemic?" Take that L. Sherry just rubbing off on people, but no, honestly, lessons learned from the pandemic. I really do feel like there was so much that happened for us to learn about, and I found patience. I found patience in myself and others. I literally know how to just say, you know what, I'm not going there. Leave it alone. Learned how to walk away. Obviously not from Rosalind Famous. I'm grateful for the information that Pat Trott shared. I think there are so many amazing places to travel in this world, and I hope that we all find the have the opportunity to go beyond the environments that we're used to, and really, as she said about Rwanda, and embrace other cultures, get engaged and become ingrained in them, so that we can truly enjoy different things. Sherry, you've got some daily inspiration for us?
I do. The only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. And that was from Maddie Mullins.
So I actually really love that one. Compete with yourself. Seriously. You can only get better. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, make it a safe and great day. And I am on juice number 1 for day 2. Peace out.